Yes, it's time for another album ranking. Today we are ranking Incantation. Now, in case you don't know, Incantation are a death metal band, but they are a very interesting death metal band. Similar to Asphyx, they are Death Doom, where they incorporate slower metal throughout their songs. So Incantation are such a unique band within the death metal spectrum. Sometimes very dirge songs, along with very fast-paced songs as well, and mid-paced songs. They are a pretty consistent band, Incantation. Incantation is so hard to rank. And yeah, so I'm going to try my best ranking Incantation. Most of their albums are pretty awesome. John McEntee is the mastermind of Incantation. He was also one of the founders of the band Profane Nexus, who was the first band in the USBM. So John McEntee has been with Incantation for over 30 years. He's one of the primary members of Incantation, where he does guitar, and now he does vocals. But there has been some crazy lineup changes as well. Incantation have had so many lineup changes, from guitarists to drummers to even vocalists. Where we got 4 vocalists that came and went. I am going to give you the albums from the weakest to the best. And yeah, this list is completely subjective. Before I continue my ranking, pop your ranking down below. And yeah, let's get started. So first up is 2002's Blasphemy. This album I don't like by Incantation. I don't really enjoy it, and the reason why I don't enjoy it is because of the overall production. The production is incredibly weak. The guitar is incredibly thin on this album, and the vocals are just way too thin. I know Mike Sayers does vocals on this album, but the execution is just not there. Probably the best song is Once Holy Throne. That's a song I do enjoy. Some of these songs are pretty good, but they're not the best. But I believe Incantation hold Blasphemy incredibly high, and I just don't understand why. Because then you got outros. You got 2 outros for this album. One that is not even a song, that is like 23 minutes long. I don't know what they were doing, to be honest. I don't know what they were doing. Apparently it was an FU to the music label or something. But really, they really messed this album up. It's not a pleasant album to listen to, Blasphemy. I don't like this album. Yeah, Blasphemy, Incantation, get in the bin. Next up is the Infernal Storm. The Infernal Storm is overall a fantastic album. These are the albums that I absolutely enjoy. But this is one of the albums that I don't really go back to. But of course, you've got some really good songs like The Anoint the Chosen, along with Lustful Demise, and then Nocturnal Kingdom of Demonic Enlightenment. So overall, these songs are fantastic. And I just really love the guitar riffs. The guitar riffs and the slow-laden guitar doomy riffs as well. It just sounds like that they were trying to copy Diabolical Conquest, in my opinion. It just seems like that, except this album is a lot more worse than Diabolical Conquest, if you get what I mean. But yeah, Infernal Storm is a good album, but I don't really want to go back to it. How Can You Forget About Heavenly Departed is one of my favorite songs by Incantation. Absolutely love it. I just love the guitar riffs, along with the drumming as well, and Mike Sayers' vocals on it, absolutely fantastic. So coming up next is Profane Nexus. This was released in 2017. And yeah, this album is fantastic overall, and I just love John McEntee's vocals. There's an awesome guitar solos. There's some really nice guitar rhythms and riffs, and I just love how doomy this album is. But there are no standout songs in my opinion. Probably Rise of the Locust is probably the best song, along with Omens to the Altar of Onyx. And then got Ancients Arise, which is a pretty good song as well. These songs do stand out, but some of these songs are just a little bit lackluster in my opinion. This album is good overall. You got songs like Muse as well, which is a fantastic song. And then you got probably one of the most quick, but then you got Xiptotic, or whatever, how you pronounce it, which is like a minute long, to incorporate elements of grind. This album is a good album. They incorporate more doomy elements, but not as doomier as Dirges of Elysium, which I will get to soon. But yeah, Profane Nexus is a pretty solid album by Incantation, but it's nothing special. Next up is Decimate Christendom. This album is fantastic, and this was the first time John McEntee sings on an Incantation album. I love the guitarist, and I just love his vocal dynamics throughout this album. McEntee gets to those incredibly high notes that we see from the later Incantation days, and you got some really awesome songs like Decimate Christendom, along with Dying Divinity. Then you got No Paradise Awaits, Feeble Existence. So overall, there are some really awesome songs on this album, some doomy-laden guitar moments, the song structures are really awesome, and overall, this is a pretty fun album to bang your head along. I love the vocal change because it's just like a breath of fresh air. This is when Incantation were breathing new life with a new vocalist, John McEntee. He had a different dynamic approach within his vocal style, and I just really loved how different Incantation albums were from there to now. Overall, what can I say? Decimate Christendom is a pretty good album. So next up is the latest album, Sect of Divinities. I absolutely adore this album. I think this is fantastic. There's nothing really bad I can say. So this is when Incantation, in my opinion, become just incredibly consistent. And this is another solid album by him. It really is. Propitation, such an awesome song. And when Guardians from the Primeval, Trails of the Hag Queen, that guitar riff you're getting. I just love Unborn Ambrosia, which is overall a very doomy sort of song. Incorporate more doom elements on this album, but there's also some fast-paced death metal as well, which I absolutely adore. Some great guitar solos on this. Next up is the 2014 release, Dirges of Elysium. This is the most doomiest album you could say by Incantation. It's incredibly doomy and dirgy. It's like you're in the depths of a cave trying to get out. The crushing guitar riffs you were getting as well, but there's also some very quick, fast-paced death metal as well, which I do really enjoy. Dirges of Elysium, the song is fantastic. Debauchery as well. You got Carry On, Prophecy. Then you got Elysium, Eternity is Nigh, which is like a 17-minute song. They incorporate more doom elements, like I said, but they also play around with Infernal Doom, like they also did with Vanquish in Vengeance and Diabolical Conquest. But Elysium, Eternity Nigh, I just love how just soul-crushing this song is. The beautiful song structure as well. And John's vocals are absolutely fantastic. Just how eerie this album gets as well. Yeah, it's one of the best, and it's sitting here. Next up is Primordial Domination. This is a great album overall, but I feel that the production is just not there. But the other albums had better production than Primordial Domination. You got the self-titled track, which is fantastic. Doctrines of Crucifixion, I just love that guitar riff. Extirpated Dominus, and then Conquered God. So some really good solid songs on there. Nothing really much bad I can say about this album, because it's just another solid release by Incantation. It's just the reason why Primordial Domination is just a little bit lower than the other albums I'm going to mention. It's because of the production. Production's not as bad as Blasphemy, but the production is still not there for a normal Incantation album. Where the production on their previous albums were a lot better, production after this album was so much better than Primordial Domination. Next up is Vanquish in Vengeance. This album is absolutely fantastic. It's hard, it's fast, and it's really an incredible fast-paced album, but there's also some slow, doomy sections as well, which I absolutely love. Invoked Infinity is fast and hard-hitting, goes straight into it, straight to your Adam's apple. Ascending the Eternal as well, which is much more doomier song. Then you got Transcending Absolute Dissolution. Then things get a little bit doomier with Profound Loathing. So Vanquish in Vengeance gets a lot more doomier as the album progresses. And we finally get to the end, which is Legion of Dis. Legion of Dis is one of the slowest Incantation songs you could possibly imagine. It's slow with incredibly, achingly slow, this song, and I absolutely adore it. If you like Funeral Doom, you're probably going to enjoy this. I love Legion of Dis. I love how slow and doomy this song is. A lot of people don't like it for some reason. I don't understand why. Maybe it's because of John's vocals on this particular song. I'm not too sure. But Legion of Dis, the soul, the crushing guitar riffs, the doomy laden guitar riffs on Legion of Dis makes it an incredible song by Incantation. And I just love how at the start of the album it's fast, it's hectic, and then it leads off to such a doomy end, very similar to Conquest very similar to Diabolical Conquest. Except Diabolical Conquest is so much better than this. Okay, so next up is Mortal Throne of Nazarene. Yes! This album is an absolute classic by Incantation, and it's a classic for a reason. This is a much slower, doomier album compared to Onward to Golgotha. Very different sort of album, except yeah, this is when Incantation incorporate more of those doomy elements, except they incorporate more of those hard-hitting elements as well. This is another frantic album by Incantation, but it also has some slower moments. Demonic Incarnate, what an incredible song. Essence of Blaze, that guitar riff on Essence of Blaze is so damn good. The Ibex Moon, and then you got Abolishment of Immaculate Serenity. So many good songs on this. I really do enjoy it, and I feel this is one of their strongest albums. But of course, there's two more albums that are slightly better than Mortal Throne of Nazarene. Okay, so controversial. Next up is Onward to Golgotha. What can I say? This is an incredible album, it really is. This was a genre-changing album, I believe. The vocalist on this album was Craig Pillard, and Craig Pillard is one of the best death metal vocalists out there, but this was certainly a game changer for the death metal scene. You had incredible songs like Golgotha, then you got Devoured Death, then you got Blasphemous Cremation, Eternal Torture to end off the album, but every single song is an absolute banger. It really is. The guitar riffs, the melodies you were getting, it's less melodic, you could say, but it's just more hard-hitting, more fast and energetic. Certainly there are some doomy sections as well, but not as doomy as the other later albums by Incantation. But damn, the production on this, the production is so damn soul-crushing. It really is. It's such a soul-crushing album. It's just got an incredible guitar tone, incredible vocals by Craig Pillard as well. But yeah, I feel there is one more album that is slightly better. Okay, so Craig Pillard departed. We had a few more lineup changes, and we had Daniel Corchado, who was on vocals, which created the best Incantation album in my opinion, Diabolical Conquest. This is the best Incantation album, and I absolutely adore this. Every single song is hard-hitting, so much energy. Guitar riffs, the melodies, the vocals are so damn good. They really are. Impending, Diabolical Conquest, how frantic and chaotic the album starts. Then you got Desecration. Then you got Disciples of Blasphemous Reprisal. Oh, what an incredible song that is. It gets even better with Shadows of the Ancient Empire, Ethereal Misery, and then you got the 17-minute Infernal Doom masterpiece by Incantation. The beautiful slow tone of that guitar as well, and his vocals. It's Unto Infinite Twilight. Majesty of Infernal Damnation. That is an incredible song by Incantation. One of my favorite songs by Incantation. And I just love how this album again starts so frantic, so chaotic, and then it ends off with such a doomy, gloomy end, such as Diabolical Conquest does. And Diabolical Conquest by Incantation is my favorite Incantation album of all time. So guys, comment below what you thought about this Incantation ranking. Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? Keep discussing in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.